it's all one thing. But with Android, there's a million different devices out there. You can get it from Samsung, you can get it from Google, you can get it from Motorola, you can get it from a million different places.
And we have to tweak the app for each one of those,
and the app
right?
is different
Yeah.
for every single one of them, because even though it's Android, it's different devices and there's different versions of Android and everything. So Android is kind of more, I feel like Android's more of an idea more than an actual platform, because so many different things use the Android framework. So it's a little tougher to fix it on all those.
So my point being that if you have had some issues on an Android device with our app, the TuneIn app allows you now
Correct.
to maybe
That's right.
surf that a little bit more freely. So some of you have asked for it. There you go. The TuneIn app is now carrying us right there on TuneIn live every day and streaming throughout the day. So thank you guys so much.
24/7, right? They'll carry the
24/7,
replay
yep.
and everything. So live show 9 to 1 and the replay, awesome.
Yeah, so that is there for you, just like our app. And we always love for you to use our app. But if that hasn't always been perfect for you, tune in right there too, and we get credit for that too. So you're not hurting our feelings at all. So thank you very much for tuning in and for you tuning in to us today. Some final thoughts before we get out of here. Brownie's out tomorrow, by the way, so it'll be the four of us and add Rockstar back into the mix tomorrow, and we'll have a fun show tomorrow as we talk a lot about the NFL. Final thoughts before we leave today on the portal and what we're seeing at Alabama. I have a feeling we're not done yet. In fact, I would bet digits we're not done yet. There'll be other guys who say they'll go to the NFL, and there'll be maybe some other guys who will go to the portal.
Jamison Williams has just announced it, so
I
he's
was
headed
about to
to
say
the
that.
NFL.
He put it on Instagram.
So Jamison has just
On his
announced he's
Instagram
going
page.
to the NFL. No surprise there.
Not at all.
Mechie is the one that you would say 90-something% he would go to the NFL, but there's a little door open. Maybe he would come back. Slade Bolden, though, Brown, on the show earlier, told us he's still making his decision. And a lot of you were reacting like, what's Slade going to do? Well, he may try the NFL waters.
Well, it's not going to be the transfer portal. He said coaches, well, Lance asked him a good question. He said, coaches haven't reached out to me. They know I'm Alabama.
That's right. So he's either
I don't
Alabama
think he's
or
transferring.
going
Yep.
to the NFL.
And again, not to take a shot at Slade, I don't know why he wouldn't come back and just continue to refine his skills and build that stock more.
Yeah, especially if you don't have a question mark at quarterback. You're coming back and playing with the guy who won the Heisman Trophy. If Bryce was on his way somewhere else, and you didn't know who was going to be throwing you the football, that would be a different story. So interesting with Slade. You can get that podcasted at nextroundlive.com, also on our YouTube channel there, and we appreciate ATIX bringing us him throughout the college football playoffs. All right, that's the show today. We set it up for tomorrow. Anybody special on the show tomorrow yet?
I think we always love talking with Matt Mosely, who covers the Cowboys. I believe he's on tomorrow. If I'm not
Matt
mistaken.
Mosely
Yeah.
is on the show
Always
tomorrow.
Mosely, yeah.
We love us some Matt Mosely. He'll be on the show tomorrow. All right, guys, enjoy your Thursday. And I'll let you know if I pay off some of my steak debt tonight. We're still trying to work on maybe getting out and getting a steak tonight. Until next time, God bless you, and God bless America.
When it came to furnishing the new facilities here at the Next Round, there was only one call we made, and that was to Richie Hamer at Business Interiors right here in Birmingham. Richie and Business Interiors have a true passion for interiors and the talent to bring the client's vision to life. Through their vast selection of great designer furniture, Richie and BI will stop at nothing to make the experience great for the client. Repeat clients trust Richie and Business Interiors because he does what he says, and the guys will deliver on their promises. Leave it to Richie and Business Interiors to incorporate creativity into every space in your corporate setting. To set up an appointment, call Richie today. 205-837-2497. That's 205-837-2497. Or just go visit Richie at the BI showroom today. They're located 2309 5th Avenue South in Birmingham. Again, the entire studios here at the Next Round furnished by our friends at Business Interiors. Go see them today, 5th Avenue South in Birmingham. Hey, Lance Taylor with the Next Round. I want to tell you about our guys at Chorus Smart Secure, local smart home security company in Hoover with over 200 5-star reviews. I made the swap from one of those big security companies to Chorus, and the cameras and automation are awesome. Tell them the Next Round sent you and receive a free Sonos soundbar with the purchase of any smart home system. Call Chorus Smart Secure today, 205-920-1020. That's 205-920-1020.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
And here we go live in studio today. No Brownie. Everyone else is here. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Rockstar is back. Lunsford getting us all technically set up, and Forrester has us dialed in with some great NFL sound, getting us ready for a playoff weekend. I went Buccaneers into the weekend in case we get upset by the Eagles. I don't have to wear it on Monday, but I will wear it on Monday if I have to. Looking forward for the Buccaneers trying to repeat as Super Bowl champions. His Rams go on Monday night, so I guess he can save some game day gear for Monday.
Yeah, I thought about wearing some today, but I just figured I'd wait till Monday.
Yeah, you can break it out Monday because Monday's your game day. Mine's on Sunday. We got 2 games on Saturday we'll talk about, but let's start with basketball, where last night UAB beats Florida International again, and we had some other big national games. We'll start with Andy's team. Andy's team goes into the weekend right now, 40th in the net, 43rd in KenPom. But really, it's all about getting right by the time they get to the tournament, likely a one-bid league again this year in Conference USA. And they handled Florida International at home. This team just dominates Conference USA at home games. They're unbeaten at Bartow this year, and they won the rebounding boards again, and they're unbeaten when they do that.
Oh, yeah, dominated the boards 45-31 last night, and, had a sluggish start. Andy Kennedy mentioned that, but Jelly Walker was great behind the arc. I mean, as a team, they were really good, 11-23 behind the arc. They shot 47%. They forced 15 turnovers. They were relentless, and they won by 28.
Yeah, the outlying losses you get during the regular season in conference, like to Rice over the weekend, UAB's a better team than Rice is. So you just hope you don't have that kind of night when you get to the tournament. That's what's so tough, the conference tournament. That's what's so tough about being in a one-bid league, that you could be the best team by far all year long, and you get to that tournament and lose one that you shouldn't lose.
Right. You want the consistency. You want the intensity the entire year, and you got to remind your guys that, look, unfortunately, this is a one-bid league, and we're also playing for seeding. Being a one-bid league, sometimes you get shafted on that seeding, and I forgot who it was. It was Middle Tennessee State. Remember when they ended up being a 15? They beat what you thought was going to be the eventual champions, Michigan State, which basically you lost the bracket challenge.
On day one.
Actually,
I rallied and ended up finishing second. So.
Oh, was that Brown? I should know by now that Brown's the one that loses the bracket challenge. We thought that you had lost that within the first session. But, that was a 15th seeded Middle Tennessee State that was really good. So, if you're Andy's team, you want to go out there, you want to dominate the league. And you want to get a decent seed.
Yeah, so maybe you get as high as a 13 or a 12 or somewhere around there. You have a chance to win that first round game. So good for Andy and the guys last night. They're back at it 3 o'clock at Bartow on Saturday against Florida Atlantic as the Florida schools pair up and come into Birmingham for the weekend. Bama's at Mississippi State. Auburn's at Ole Miss coming up this weekend. And they start off on the net in the KenPom. Auburn is 6th behind Baylor, Arizona, Gonzaga, LSU, and Houston. In the net behind, they're 7th in the KenPom behind Gonzaga, Baylor, Houston, Villanova, Purdue, Arizona, and Auburn. Bama's 23rd in the net, 17 in the KenPom as we get going for the weekend. And last night, there was great basketball late into the evening. You said Gonzaga would have no problem with BYU. They handled them easily. A good BYU team, 110-84. A lot of points in that one for Gonzaga.
Man, it is hard to score 110 points in a 40-minute game.
That's our 40 minutes in college basketball with that. That means BYU is trying to get after it a little bit, too. That probably locks in Gonzaga as your number one team in the new AP poll on Monday.
I would assume. I thought before Gonzaga was going to be your number one team, and the way it's going to shake out now when you get to this next game is the Auburn Tigers are going to be your number 2 team.
Yep, and that's where Auburn should be when the AP poll comes out, if they handle Ole Miss on the road tomorrow. There was an upset last night. Number 3 UCLA, their second loss, this one to Oregon. Dana Altman gets his 700th win. This UCLA team, a lot of expectations. They've now been drilled by Gonzaga and now losing to an Oregon team that's usually pretty good. They've had a rough start, the Ducks, but that's an interesting loss for UCLA.
No, it is. They were a 10.5-point favorite going into that game. They had a 5-point lead at halftime. They got up by as many as 9. Dana Altman, though, he's coached really well against UCLA, kind of had their number the last few times out, and that was one of those back-and-forth games, and Oregon found a way to win in overtime. And Cody Riley, you'll remember one of the bigs that gave Alabama some trouble last year. He got in early foul trouble, and that was kind of the deciding factor. Only played 20 minutes, so he really wasn't a factor. 1 of 5 from the field. Nice win for Dana Altman, picking up win number 700, which is a lot in college basketball. I think one of the more underrated coaches. I thought, the year that Gonzaga and North Carolina played for a national championship, they should have beaten North Carolina in that Final Four, and I thought Oregon was going to win the national championship.
So Altman's been that good there. Where was he, Creighton or somewhere like that?
He was at Creighton, and then for a minute, he sat behind an Arkansas desk.
Yeah. Speaking of which, another Arkansas coaching saga that I'll ask LT about in just a second after we tell you about the great folks at Nichols Outfitters. Brownie's not here today, but our friends at Nichols Outfitters, even when he's not here, takes care of you. Nichols Outfitters in Pelham is home to one of the largest firearms showrooms in the state and the best bow technical team out there. Nichols Outfitters has the inventory and expertise to get you just what you're looking for this hunting season. It's off exit 242 in Pelham or online at nicholsoutfitters.com, nicholsoutfitters.com. All of you in the Farmfolio chat room, you remember Bobby Petrino, the story, right?
Which one?
The one when he was at Arkansas.
Okay, because there was one in the middle of the night leaving Atlanta. There was a motorcycle wreck.
Yeah. Not that anything's going on here, but is there a place that has weirder coaching stories than Arkansas? Now, I'm not saying there's anything like Bobby Petrino going on here. It's just a weird injury story. Eric Musselman is going to miss Saturday's game with LSU and then maybe another game as well. He injured his shoulder in a collision with a player, according to reports. The collision was so hard he tore tendons in his shoulder and is going to have surgery, or did have surgery, and he's going to actually miss 2 games on the bench. Where else does it? I mean, how often does a coach get hurt ever, period, and he's getting banged up at a place that had a guy wreck a motorcycle and ruin his career? I mean, where's this?
Are you saying you don't believe the story?
No, I mean, I 100% believe the story.
Because I think you know this. If it's not a true story, make it a one-party story.
Yeah.
You can never involve another party.
So wait, so the tips of lying. Here we go, Farmfolio chat room, and also on Twitter at Next Round Live. A key to a good lie is keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Leon didn't get into it in the season finale of Curb. Did you watch it?
Still haven't seen the season finale.
Season finale. He said there's five keys to being a good liar, but he didn't use one of those keys. But I would assume one of the keys is keep it one party, because if there's a second party, they can always fold under pressure.
Yeah, they can get on the witness stand or under that naked bulb. Being asked questions.
Yeah, so if Musselman said, hey, I ran into said player, and said player says, no, that really didn't happen, he fell in a hot tub. It is a weird injury, though.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't see coaches get hurt that often, right? Think of coaching injuries. For me, Sean Payton, I remember him getting run up on the sidelines.
Yeah, when you actually had a stake on your own team. And no, you had your stake against your own team.
Yep. Now, Malzahn got injured this year, but was it in practice or was it somewhere else? But he ended up, remember, having to coach from on top of that table this year. So Malzahn's been injured. You just don't see a lot of coaching injuries.
No.
You know?
You really don't.
Especially enough to make you miss games.
Yeah, Hugh Freeze, we remember him coaching from a dental chair and a bed, I guess.
Yep.
I forgot what the injury was. I guess it was a back or a neck.
Yeah, that seemed more viral. I think that was more of a sickness going on with Hugh. So there you go. There's Musselman, who's going to miss some basketball.
Charlie Weiss. Wasn't he on a scooter at one point because didn't he get laid up and tore his ACL? Somebody tackled him in the.
Yeah, maybe. I thought he was just like sitting on a cooler.
Well, I remember he was on a scooter for a while.
Yeah, I remember him sitting on the cooler. I thought that was just, I don't want to stand.
Just taking a break.
I'm going to sit on
I
the
thought
cooler.
somebody ran into him on the sideline and it destroyed his knee.
Yeah, probably so. I mean, it happens. And, a lot of people running around a basketball court, so you can get run into.
Did you know anybody in the media, though? Because you see somebody, a media member, at least every week and get completely trucked.
Oh.
But have you ever heard of bad injuries?
Yeah, I can't remember 2 of them. One of them was Don Hawes when he was at NBC 13 here in Birmingham. He got ran over at Bryant-Denny Stadium by those television network trucks on the sideline.
Oh my God!
So
not even a player truck.
Yeah, that thing that does the camera down the sidelines. You see him, bounces like a big golf cart buggy with the camera on top.
Was this on Driver or on Don?
Well, they tell you to stay out of the way of it, and now they've got these big arms like this. It's sort of a radio antenna that bows out in the front that's supposed to clip you first to get you out of the way. And now a lot of them, and I think at Bryant-Denny for a while, they had military personnel that walked up and down to keep you out of the way. But usually there's people, if you've been on the sidelines long enough, you've had a scary moment with them, but you know that thing is trucking up and down and you need to stay out of the way of it. And
I've only been on the sidelines a couple of times, but it's like immediately it's like natural instinct, the self-awareness. I know it's chaotic and there's a lot going on because you have people running up and down with cameras. You also, my biggest fear is players coming into you.
Yeah, I when I'm on the sidelines and I'm on there a lot, I keep an eye on the play because I am fearful of that too, and I'm not afraid to back up. I'm not going to stand my ground. I'm not an idiot, and I'm really over there. I've never got a camera.
This is your Tiananmen Square.
Yeah, so I'm not going to stand there.
But if Brian Robinson comes into you full speed, you're dust, right?
That's right. So it doesn't have to be close, and I'm going backwards, right? I'm not one of those guys that cares. No, that's going to be Jim. That's going to be Jim on the TV shot. I don't care. So
quickly hop out of the way, look agile.
Yeah. No, I run the other way. I don't even try to catch passes. I'll get out of the way of a pass too. If it's, if some Bo Nix has decided to throw one away.
Was that a fear as when you were officiating the SEC, the 8A game?
The 8A game, I did not want to get my legs rolled up under. And it was close a couple of times. It was close a couple of times on the sidelines. I was the line judge, so I was right in the middle.
Surprised we don't see that more.
Yeah, and the umpire's the one that's right in the middle of the action. But Don got hit with a truck. And, I think he got some money out of it. I can't remember if it was CBS or ESPN, but I think it was CBS, and they rolled up on him. And I think he got some money out of it.
So damage?
Yeah. It hurt him pretty bad. It tore his leg up. It was pretty bad. They ran over the back of him.
I played golf with him one time out at Regents. Sunk one of the longest putts I've ever seen.
Yeah. No, good guy.
On 18.
And then there was a photographer, I can't remember his name, when I was in Lexington, who worked in Cincinnati, and Forrester could tell you the trouble of shooting on the sidelines with those big cameras you used to have.
Yeah, I wonder if Forrester's ever been rolled up on. He has.
He says he has. But Forrester, back at Cincinnati, it was one of those places that they mandated you get down on your knees in the end zone and shoot. And it was a mandate that you had to be down in that position, right? You're not standing, so you can't get out of the way when you're down on your knees. And this guy got leveled in a Bengals game, and it tore his face up to where he had to have reconstruction surgery on all of his teeth and his mouth and his jaw, and it messed him up pretty bad, almost killed him. Helmet to jaw there, open face, and it was almost like getting kicked with a bull.
When was it? Was just a couple of years ago. The girl in the back of the end zone, was it an Auburn game where she tried to field the kickoff or
and it
the missed field goal
in the face?
Yeah, got it right in the face.
Yeah.
Do you remember that one, Rocky?
I don't. But the other thing, sitting front courtside at a basketball game, because you have to have your head on a swivel because there's going to be a ball coming 90 miles an hour to your face, or a guy jumping to get that ball. That's why, I can't believe people are on the front row on their phones.
They get hit all the time, and it seems like it does no damage to them. The ball to the face, worst case, you're going to get a broken nose. The baseball we've talked about before, sitting down before the netting, that was dicey.
Yeah, hockey back in the day before. I think hockey maybe went to the netting behind the goal before everyone else did.
Yeah, puck to throat, you're dead.
And back in the old Birmingham Bulls day at the BJCC.
The old puck to the throat.
Yeah, they had no netting, right? So, you're sitting behind the goal, and, it was at times minor league hockey, but World Hockey Association, even back in the day, they'd fire one of those slap shots and gets away from right off the top of the glass, right into the seats.
A projectile. I bet you've seen the movie. I've never seen it. I saw the trailer. It was enough for me to say, there's no way this is going to be good. It was called Untamed Heart with Marissa Tomei and Kristen Slater.
He catches the puck.
Yeah.
Did he have he was looking for a heart
monkey? He had a monkey heart, I think.
Like that. I never saw the movie, but I remember the trailer.
Have you seen it? He catches a puck full speed.
Yeah, I've not seen that movie or even the trailer. That's
it's a rom-com that probably ends bad.
One other injury, and Rockstar, you guys can relate to this. By the way, Forrester says he got trucked at the Auburn Georgia game about 4 or 5 years ago over in Athens. But there are some places they make the photographer kneel down. That guy got just killed because he couldn't get out of the way. There was another. We always get asked as local TV or radio personalities, now digital platform personalities, to occasionally do stunts, right? I think it was Dollar Bill Lawson, longtime radio legend in Birmingham on a country station.
Did the bull, right?
Did the bull ride with a rodeo coming to town. And I'll be honest with you, they put him on a real bull.
Yeah, it almost killed him, didn't it?
Yeah, he caught either a head or a hoof to the face, and it hurt him pretty bad. He had to have some reconstruction done there. And listen, I used to do that all the time. I just always assumed when they were putting me on one of those things that it was going to be like an old bull that's just going to trot around a little bit, right?
We know what we're doing here. Look, you got no fear.
That's
no
right,
problems.
nothing at all. They put him on one of the real bulls and just jacked him up. And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I would have sued the heck out of him. If I'm a Herb, our buddy Herb, back in the day would do all that stuff. He got in the wrestling rink with the WWF back in the day. Now the WWE. He played goalie with the Birmingham Bulls in a professional hockey game. Signed a 1-day contract in a real game, like blocking real shots.
Roller skated around Talladega.
Roller skated around Talladega. Nobody's going to hit you with that. But, I mean, some painful things. I mean, he lined up with the Birmingham Stallions and went through a full practice, full contact, real hits. I mean, so you do some crazy stuff. There was a legendary Sports Illustrated writer back in the day that tried out for the Lions, and they took.
That was Plumpton, George Plumpton.
Yeah.
Did he make the roster?
I did not.
You're pretty good.
A little surprised he didn't, right?
Seriously.
He didn't, but here's a media guy. We're going to take advantage of him, and they lit him up.
Well, that was Johnny Knoxville when he came out Jackass, and Pete Carroll said, "Yeah, come on out." He dressed as a Tennessee player.
Yep.
Do you remember the last Jackass 3 was?
There's no way they could allow that today, right?
But what's the dude with the mullet that played for the Vikings, linebacker?
Jared Allen.
Jared Allen. The thing was, Johnny Knoxville was going to catch a pass up the middle, and he told Allen, "Do not hold back," and he did not hold back. I mean, it was so uncomfortable. And what Stifler was throwing the pass.
Brian Pope, who a longtime producer at Fox 6, J.J. Pruitt got hurt a few years ago doing a morning show bit with the WWE. Those things can go wrong. You don't
things I would have done in my 20s that no chance I would do now.
Yeah, so we hope Eric Musselman is back to full health pretty soon and back on the sidelines for Arkansas.
And by the way, they need to get their game going. They're coming off a big win against Missouri where they smoked Missouri, but they had lost 5 of 6. And Wimp talked about it on the show on Wednesday. They're by far the biggest disappointment in the SEC so far.
Yeah, I agree. That's a team that I would have put in the top 3 of the league, top 4 in the league back before the season started. And they've been a little underwhelming. Maybe they'll get it right. Tricky game for Bama at Mississippi State over the weekend. Tough, hard-nosed, blue-collar team taking on the Tide in Starkville. Auburn on the road at Ole Miss. UAB back at FAU. That's your basketball for the weekend. Michael in the Farmfolio chat room, I think NASCAR is the toughest sport that you'd rather not have fan interaction with the drivers or cars. I did almost get clipped by, I believe it was Jeff Gordon in Daytona one year when you got free reign in the garage. And you got to keep your head on the swivel because a swivel, not a shrivel. Yeah. You got to keep your head on.
A shrivel's a different story.
I shriveled afterwards.
Don't want to keep your head on that.
It's gonna be one of those shows.
We can only hope. It's Friday.
You had to keep your head on a swivel because those cars are coming in and out all the time. If you're in the wrong place, they will not brake for you. Brownie not here. They wanted to know over there in the chat room if all these injuries were setting up and why Brownie's not here. Not a little vacation day for Brownie. Is he out Monday as well?
No, he's just out today.
Just out one day today. So it's that time of year. We commit to being here if we physically can every day during football season. So from now until we crank it back up, SEC Media Days or for the kick of the next season, we'll be rotating in and out on a variety of bases and try to be all here as much as we can. But we are down a man today. Brownie will get him back on Monday, and we'll keep rolling forward today on TuneIn Radio as well. A lot of you listen to us on the app. Always glad to have you on the Next Round app. That is always an option. But we're also on TuneIn today, TuneIn, TuneIn, that app. If you're an Android phone user, if your phone is an Android, and you've had some hit or miss occasionally with our app, We're 99.9% accurate on the Apple format, but if you're an Android user and want to take us on the app and you're struggling with the Next Round app, we recommend the TuneIn app. I listened to it a couple of times yesterday just to make sure it was all working great, working fantastic right there. Just save the Next Round as one of your favorites. You hit the little heart icon there, get in every day in your car or truck, and TuneIn will pop on in your CarPlay system, and you got the Next Round playing 24 hours a day now right there on TuneIn. Part of our show today being brought to you by the great folks at Hemp Hill Services as we get rolling. And I'll tell you after LT tells us about Hemp Hill, who's on the show today. A couple of great guests.
Yeah, and Hemp Hill, just fantastic guys. Seriously, I've made the call to these guys for not only myself, but for multiple friends. I think they hooked Rocky up yesterday, right?
We're getting there. Oh, no, I was out of town.
Is it a new water heater?
Trying to get a water heater because ours is 22 years old.
Okay.
And we have lukewarm showers now. So we got to get that thing taken care of.
Yeah, can't have the lukewarm shower. This is the thing these guys can take care of. If it's not running right, flowing right, draining right, or flushing right, our friends at Hemp Hill, they can hook you up. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the team there. The ones I trust to fix it right the first time, always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090.
As Sterling says over in the chat, to get rid of their shrivel, you just call the Alabama Men's Clinic. They'll take care of when your head's on a shrivel.
There you go. You can always turn into a sponsor.
You can always turn into a sponsorship. Peter Burns of the SEC Network, he joins us at the top of the hour. Matt Mosely, longtime columnist for Fox Sports, ESPN, the Dallas Morning News from out in Texas. He's part of the Doomsday Podcast. He'll join us at 11 to chat up the National Football League playoffs. When we come back, another busy day of import-export when it comes to Alabama football players. We'll talk about who left the Tide yesterday, who's coming back, and what's on the horizon in college football as we roll on TNR.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
The Next Round is proud to partner with Vulcan Tire and Auto, and we're excited to announce their first-class team and facilities are growing. If you are an experienced general maintenance technician looking for a new opportunity with a great growing company, go by Vulcan Tire. They want to talk to you. Not experienced, but interested in working on cars? Again, go by Vulcan Tire. They have a spot for anyone that has a can-do attitude, wants to work, and enjoys helping people. 4 locations and more to come. Vulcan Tire and Automotive, Moody, Trustful, Hoover, and Gardendale, VulcanTireandAuto.com.
If you're looking for a fun golf atmosphere that is laid back with a peaceful environment, the Meadows Golf Course in Harpersville, right off of Highway 280, is perfect for you. Just a short drive from Birmingham, this 18-hole, 200-acre track with rolling fairways and ample greens is the definition of peacefulness of the country just miles from the city. Enjoy a great lunch before your round and a cocktail on the wraparound porch after 18. Come see us today. The Meadows Golf Course in Harpersville, right off of Highway 280.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the Next Round host a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and Bourbon, our weekly college football conversation, while sipping on some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And in our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, LT takes off the gloves for in-depth conversations with stars like Taylor Hicks, presented by Redmont Vodka. Find these podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple, Spotify, and on our website, nextroundlive.com.
At ERA King Real Estate, they're empowered by technology and driven by community. I'm Jim Denaway, and my friends at ERA King have the most extensive training and the most innovative tools in the business. And they're opening their 10th office location in Central Alabama this month. To find your agent, text the word MOVE, M-O-V-E, to 35260. That's MOVE to 35260. ERA King Real Estate, growing to serve you.
The tradition of giving fine art continues with the Daniel A. Moore Alabama Christmas Gift Pack, including the new 2022 Crimson and White Fine Art Calendar, featuring some of the most honored former Alabama players, 1 collegiate classic fine art print signed by the artist, and your choice of 4 Daniel A. Moore beverage mugs, all for only $79, a $115 value. Order now at danielmooreart.com or by calling 1-800-735-2787.
Stay up to date with the Next Round at nextroundlive.com. The latest videos from the show, plus podcasts like the Mystery Fifth Hour, Bama and Bourbon,
Last Call, and others from the Double Down Media podcast family. You can start your day with the latest college football stories, plus easy-to-listen-to hour-by-hour downloads of the live show. NextRoundLive.com, a great way to stream the show live or shop in the Next Round store. Make NextRoundLive.com your homepage. That's NextRoundLive.com.
The new location of Walk-Ons is now open at Stadium Trace in Hoover near the Hoover Met. And just like the location off Highway 280, you get authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine prepared fresh from scratch every day. Walk-Ons Happy Hour is 2 to 6 Monday through Friday. $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. Download the Walk-Ons mobile app for an easy take-home experience for the family. It's game day with a taste of Louisiana at Walk-Ons off Highway 281-19 and now at Stadium Trace near the Hoover Met.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the Next Round hosts a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and bourbon, our weekly college football conversation, while sipping some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, presented by Redmont Vodka. LT has in-depth conversations with personalities like Clay Travis and Taylor Hicks. Find those podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple and Spotify. And remember to like and subscribe.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Back with you as always, the show presented by our friends at Bud Light from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, LTD&B, Rockstar, Forrester, and Lunsford all with you today. No Brownie, no B part of the D&B, but we roll on with Peter Burns at the top of the hour. We'll talk a little Alabama exits and one big guy coming back yesterday. But first, our friends at Wayne's want to remind you that they have introduced the Smart Pest solution. Smart Pest combines the effectiveness of traditional pest control services with a monitoring system that keeps an eye on rodents 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Smart Pest monitors are proactively communicating to prevent an infestation at your home. Smart Pest is the most intelligent, eco-friendly pest control solution available today, not just in your home. They do residential and commercial as well, so they can keep infestations from happening at your business as well. Call 866-WAYNES-1, 866-WAYNES-1. Mention the offer code TNR to receive $60 off your initial Smart Pest service. Our friends at Wayne's, the exclusive provider here in the Next Round, and we are so happy to have them with us in 2022, and they take care of all of our homes, our lawns, and our business as well. Thank you to Wayne's. All right, yesterday, let's start with the obvious. You knew Evan Neal and Jamison Williams were going pro. Evan Neal will be maybe the first, second, or third guy off the board, right? So no-brainer there for Evan Neal, even though he had eligibility left. Jamison Williams still being projected even with the injuries, a first-round guy. No-brainer right there. The exit of Shane Lee, he's in the portal now. He's going to another school. Shane Lee and Drew Sanders are really good linebackers.
Yeah. I mean, look, Shane Lee played in 2019 as a true freshman, started. Now, that was because of major injuries to the linebacker position, but a guy that has battled injuries, but obviously if you're starting as a true freshman at Alabama, even with injuries, you've got talent.
Yeah, the same happened with Drew Sanders. Because of injuries, he was forced to start, and then he got knocked out with injuries, and that opened the door for Dallas Turner. So those are two guys that you could expect linebackers to end up at a really good place. The biggest get back yesterday for Alabama was Cameron Latu returning. According to reports, he's coming back. Second in the nation when tight ends with 8 touchdown catches. And just with the ineffectiveness of Billingsley and Billingsley leaving, losing Jaleel Skinner as a late flip in recruiting, that position room, tight end, seemed to be a little bit of a concern. And Latu is a guy that comes back now, if he follows through with a recommitment to Alabama, is a guy that is a huge keep for Alabama, not losing him to the NFL or to the portal.
Yeah, I mean, just guessing right now, outside of obviously you've lost Jamison here. I don't know where we are on Mechie. You and I talked about this before the show. I've got a weird feeling that he might come back to Alabama, just to knowing that he is going to be that primary, that he can continue to put up huge numbers, and he really can propel himself into the first round. He might be a first-round guy to begin with.
Yeah.
But I think if he has the year a lot of people believe he could have next year, he would be a first-round almost lock. But if he doesn't come back, Slade Bolden would be first on the team in receptions, at least returning. I think Latu would be second.
Yeah, so I think that was pretty huge getting Latu back. I'd love to know what our viewers and listeners think on whether Mechie comes back or not. I mean, that becomes a great addition if John decides to come back. I'd be surprised if he does, because in your head, I think he started the season thinking this was his last year, and it takes a lot to sort of flip that back around. But we'll see if John comes back. More movement yesterday in college football. What a get for LSU. They recruited Noah Cain, the Penn State running back, out of high school, and he chose Penn State. Now Cain hits the portal, and he commits to Brian Kelly and LSU. Man, that kid can play, and that's a good addition for LSU that has struggled to run the ball the last couple of years.
Well, look, Noah Cain, his best year was his freshman year. I think he still got 2 years of eligibility left. 2020 was cut short, not only with COVID, he was injured, was banged up a little bit this year. They really didn't run the football extremely well. But, yeah, that's a guy that can be a big-time running back. And for whatever reason, as you said, man, LSU, not even last year, but the last couple of years just haven't been able to run the football effectively.
Yeah, and not because of offensive line talent. And I think they've had talent at the running back position. But now you got a coach in Brian Kelly who likes to run the football. He's okay with running the ball. He doesn't have to throw it 70 times a game. So Noah Cain is going to fit in great there. LSU also gets Arkansas DB Greg Brooks in the portal there to help on the backside. And then a big one in the ACC that could keep Clemson from getting back on top in the league. Virginia quarterback Brennan Armstrong is coming back, and that kid can play.
I thought he was one of the best quarterbacks in college football, and he gets overshadowed because Virginia's defense, which is interesting under Bronco Mendenhall, was so bad this year. But if you haven't watched Brennan Armstrong, big physical guy, he's athletic, can get outside of the pocket, even with his size. One of the best quarterbacks in college football.
One of the reads at the morning rounds this morning, your top links every morning at nextroundlive.com, is a way too early projection of the ACC standings in 2022. And they go NC State as the team to beat, not Clemson. They think Clemson can be a 10-win team again, but they think NC State with Devin Leary back.
I said it on Tuesday.
Yeah, as the team to beat. And we saw NC State on a lot of the way too earlys being ranked so high, not always above Clemson, sometimes above Clemson. Does Virginia fit into that divisional race in the Coastal?
I can't say they do based on how bad the defense was last year. And I can find this real quick. I would say that they were anywhere from 100 to 132 in defense.
Yeah, one of the worst defensive teams.
I think it was that bad
in college football. So that was a big day yesterday in the portal. It was a big day for Rockstar yesterday, too. He wasn't here on the show. We'll ask Rocky what he was doing last night and how it all went after I tell you about the great folks at the Alabama Men's Clinic. You guys were talking about that in the Farmfolio chat room earlier. And listen, some of you woke up today not rested. You didn't sleep well last night. You're sort of moping through your morning, and you've realized, man, that's sort of how I'm living my life now. Always moping, always tired, never sleeping great. Just don't feel as young or as good as I used to. All that can be straightly tied to low testosterone. If you have a low T problem, or you don't know if you do or not, you need to check out the Alabama Men's Clinic. They got a solution for you, and they'll let you know exactly what your problem may be. If it's low testosterone, low T, it's an easy fix. All you have to do is go by Alabama Men's Clinic right there in Homewood. You can go in, get a medical consultation, blood work done. If medically advised and you start your low T treatment that day in the office, your visit is free. Get the details about that and set up that appointment by calling this number, 205-598-7000, 205-598-7000, or go onto the website, alabamamensclinic.com, alabamamensclinic.com. Some of you maybe slip in and out of depression sometimes. That is a low T problem at times. alabamamensclinic.com can take care of you. You have the Virginia numbers?
Yeah, Virginia was 104th in scoring defense, gave up 32 points per game. That's pathetic.
and that was the problem of the scary part for Tony Elliott. If Brennan Armstrong did not come back, he was going to have to break in a new quarterback, having to overcome that kind of defense there. Chris believes Brent Venables' departure will have the biggest impact on the Clemson defense and why that could keep Clemson from getting back there.
Well, now that you lost Jeff Scott 2 years ago, Tony Elliott this year, now Brent Venables, you've got to completely reset if you're Dabo Swinney. Now, the good news is you've still got what seems to be a streamlined program, but you're coming off not only the defections from the coaching staff, which seem to be, the most stable coaching staff, at least amongst the elite programs for the last decade, but now you're coming off one of the worst years under Dabo, or at least the worst year almost in the last decade.
Yes, and add into that the storyline that this becomes sort of an indictment on Dabo Swinney, the elite coach, or Dabo Swinney, the good coach, whether or not he can pull it out of the dive, right? Because the best of the best in Nick Saban loses 3 games in 2010 and then rallies for back-to-back national championships. What will be Dabo's legacy of this taking a dip? Can he pull it back out?
Okay, so Dabo, I'm guessing, you know Dabo personally, 51?
52?
Okay,
53?
52.
Yeah.
So just 3-4 years ago, some people were tabbing Dabo and Clemson the best program in college football after they beat Nick Saban that second time.
Right.
And for a good 5-6 year stretch, it was 1 and 2, Alabama and Clemson and Alabama. Have you ever seen somebody this prematurely in their career at 52 that could go south? Like, I've never seen it before. I mean, do we have another example of somebody that was at their height and this early would go south and not be competing for championships? I mean, Joe Paterno, Bobby Bowden, those guys, they lost the fastball, but they were way past their prime.
Yeah, and
that's why it's hard for me to believe that Clemson, where they are right now, although they had a bad year this year, the offense was pathetic. They're losing a lot of coordinators, or all their coordinators, and they only win 10 games, and I say only 10 games.
I think old school Alabama fans would tell you that Bear Bryant, after 1966, dipped a little bit. He would have been, about 55 then.
But he still won how many championships
52.
after that? 2, 3?
Yeah, he rallied back. But there was a 4 or 5 year window there where, even Alabama fans back in the 60s were talking about maybe the game's passed him by and we need to move in a different direction. And then, of course, he turned things around with the wishbone in the 70s were what they were for Alabama and 3 national championships.
Can you ever envision a moment where Clemson fans are saying, man, I think it's past, at least in the next 5 to 10 years, I think the game has passed Dabo by?
Well, I don't. But Les Miles won a national championship in 2007 and was the second best team in the country in 2011.
But again, the 2007, a little tainted, the only 2-loss champion.
Yeah.
2011, I think a lot of people believe that, hey, look, we were one of the best teams in the history of college football and couldn't close the deal. Dabo's already got 2. How many has he played for? 4?
3. He was in the playoffs, 1, but 3 championship games. Lost 1 to Bama, beat them twice, and then lost to Bama in a semifinal. No, they did. He lost to LSU.
Yeah, so he's played for 4. And again, the guy's only 52 years old. I just don't think it's past him. I can't believe that I'm the guy battling for Dabo.
Well, I don't think it's past him either. I'm just saying that going into the year with no Brent Venables and a new offensive coordinator and no Tony Elliott.
And no proven quarterback, really.
That they are looking at Dabo saying, all right, can he pull this thing out? Can he keep this from being a second-year dip or a third-year dip? And some folks who are starting to do their early projections are liking other teams like NC State more.
Check out Formfolio right now in our chat room. A lot of people are saying Dabo's done, and I don't know if it's just the Dabo dislike, and I know there's a lot of it out there.
Yeah, like the pinnacle. Dabo's decline starts now, and I'm going to enjoy it. I don't know why you're anti-Dabo, but maybe just the Clemson-Alabama rivalry turned into that.
Well, he wore me out years ago. I told you that. I respect what he's been able to do and build this really incredible program, but I'll believe it when I see it coming into this year. I thought they would win a national championship. That was a big swing and a miss from me.
I had Oklahoma.
Yeah, well, that was a big swing and a miss from you.
Yeah.
Neither one made the college playoffs. But this was a one-off for me. I think with Clemson at least.
Eric says Larry Coker. Do you count him?
No.
Burning Fast. We never really give Larry any credit because he was riding Butch Davis's horses.
Yeah, I mean Larry Coker won one national championship. Should have won two. Completely blew a second one, or the officiating blew that second one against Ohio State. But he was hand-given that team. Dabo built that program.
Yeah. Paul makes a great point. Dabo has been one of those guys pushing against the movement for all the new rules we have. He's been pushing against name, image, and likeness and portal transfers and all of that, and that can wear on you if you're not willing to adjust to the way the game is now. That can keep you from looking like the cool up-and-coming coach, and that can impact your recruiting, and it also can impact your passion for what you do and just the mojo you have inside your building.
Yeah, but don't you think Dabo's smart enough that he was able to build this facility that recruits loved, that he'll be able to readjust to what's going on right now?
I think he can. I think it was as simple as their quarterback didn't play as well as expected, their offensive line didn't play as well as expected, and if you get those two things fixed, everything looks smoother than it did last year.
I do find it interesting in all of the way too early top 25s. Nobody had them in the top 5, and they've got 17 returning starters, and they've got all 11 on offense. Now, I don't know if necessarily that's a good thing because that offense did not look good this past year. Has he hired an offensive coordinator yet?
I think he promoted from within.
Okay.
He's got 2 guys from within that promoted up to call plays.
I think I saw that.
Tyler says if Bill O'Brien leaves, who will be the plug-in in Tuscaloosa? That'll be interesting to see who they go get at that point if Bill O'Brien leaves. And yesterday we were talking to a couple of NFL analysts who believe Bill O'Brien will get a serious look from somebody in the National Football League. Brown's of the belief that Bill will be back in Tuscaloosa, which would be a positive for Bryce Young.
How many times can you have a top 3 scoring offense, have a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, play for the national championship, and I think a good majority of the fan base would be glad that your offensive coordinator's gone?
I'll throw a couple of those questions out. One of those being, would you want Bill O'Brien back for another year? I know I would. Rockstar, last night, you were not here yesterday, Black Jacket Symphony. Where was it and how did it go?
We were in Greenville, Alabama last night at the Ritz Theater performing Second Helping by Leonard Skinner.
Little Leonard Skinner. Tell us what's on that album. Is that a Freebird album?
No, that is not, but Sweet Home Alabama starts the album off. That is the first track on that album. Ballad of Curtis Lowe is on that album. Don't Ask Me No Questions. Call Me the Breeze.
Okay, hold on. Don't Ask Me No Questions, and I'll Tell You No Lies.
Yep.
Okay, I like that one.
Ballad of Curtis Lowe, Call Me the Breeze, and a song that I'm not the biggest Skinner guy, I know the hits. There's a song, the second song of the album is called I Need You. It is a very, very good song. A lot of guitar solos in that album, but it was a fun night. I got to sing some harmony stuff. Got to do one lead song called, which I didn't like the song, You Got That Right. It was it's not my favorite Skinner song, but it's a great show.
Now, the way for those that haven't seen the Black Jacket Symphony, and you get a chance to do that often, and Rockstar's with them occasionally, you play the album that is the focus first, and then you come back in the second set and play just a bunch of hits from that artist?
So the Second Helping, so what we do is we come out and we play Second Helping in order, chronological order, as you're listening to the album live. There's no talking in between. It's literally like we don't engage with the audience during the album. It's just like you close your eyes, you're listening to the album, and
so
then
it's like boom, I put the needle down back in the day, and it plays as it was made.
And we do it note for note, and then we take an intermission, and then we come back, and then that's when like a concert starts where we can engage with the crowd, and we do the greatest hits of that artist. So greatest hits of Leonard Skinner.
I know you're not a huge Leonard Skinner guy.
I'm not, but they've got some great songs.
They do have great songs, and what I was going to ask you as a vocalist, Ronnie Van Zant was so underrated, in my opinion.
There's this. It's a depressing ride. A lot of drug. A lot of that smell. It's a sad ass song. Don't stick those needles in your arm. But
that's what that's about. The smell of heating up the heroin.
That, and it's getting a car wreck, running your car into a tree, and the smell of death surrounds you. It's just like, and talking about drinking whiskey and driving. But he's a fantastic singer. Like he is very underrated. Like not like a super duper range, but a very familiar voice. You could pick his voice out easily.
Jay Pear says Needle and Spoon is on that album.
Needle and the Spoon is the second to last cut.
So what ended up being your favorite cut?
I Need You. And I have probably 2 lines in that song, but that is a great song. Something I didn't hear till 2 weeks ago. And we had a marathon rehearsal on Wednesday, and then I had the show last night.
See, I tell you, I really enjoy the Black Jacket Symphony. Anytime you get out and catch Rocky and the guys in a show. So in Greenville last night, people in the Farm Folio chat room want to know, how'd you like Greenville last night? You said it was a quaint little town. You liked it.
It was. Well, I didn't see much of it because I get there, we have to do sound check and everything. We don't get to tour the town, and that's usually when we're on the bus. We're on the bus, you get off the bus and walk around town, get your stuff set up and everything. But I didn't have an opportunity to really. It's a nice little town. This little tiny town. It changes from like you see all this franchise food places, and then about a mile later you're in Greenville, and it's a nice little quaint little like Mayberry town. It was really cool.
Yeah, Tuesday's Gone's not on that. That would have been in the hit section.
That was
right?
in the hit. That was our second to last song.
Such a good tune.
Yeah.
And of course we ended it with Freebird, which was 9 minutes of a guitar solo, but it sounded great. They did a really good job.
Yeah, Leonard Skinner outdoor concert in the 70s. I'd like to go back to one of those. That'd be one of those
Have
concerts.
you seen
I'd
the
like to go back
documentary
to.
on? Well, there's multiple documentaries.
You're thinking of If I Leave Here Tomorrow?
If I Leave Here Tomorrow, the great where they opened for the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
And nobody was supposed to walk out on the tongue. And Ronnie's aunt was like, "To hell with you."
And he always did he play? He was always barefoot.
Right.
He's always
Of course
barefoot.
he was.
Yeah.
You think Mick and the guys burned that rug?
I guarantee you, Mick didn't say a word to Ronnie Van Zant. He would have whipped that ass. He would have.
He'd have cut him. All right. 45 after hour number one. Peter Burns at the top of the hour. Quick break here. We're back in a moment on the next round.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
This hour of the next round is presented by Culver's, located in Stadium Trace, just off 459 and 150 in Hoover. And coming soon to Tattersall Park on the corner of 119 and 280. Culver's, welcome to Delicious.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations. But we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, brombergs.com.
The Next Round team is getting healthy in 2022. You could join the challenge as we look to lose weight with our friends at Way to Wellness. Plus, you can participate with your office as well and win a grand prize. For more information, go to nextroundlive.com.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters, it's the will to prepare to win." Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that's right for you. Stop by one of the 7 Central Alabama locations today or give them a call at 1-855-4-BRYANT to begin preparing for your financial future today. You'll find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about. Bryant Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com. The latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com.
Fans of Twin Peaks, make sure you stay up to date by signing up for their e-club. Stay up to date on all things Twin Peaks and score free stuff. Signing up is easy. Just visit twinpeaksrestaurant.com/peaks-club to get started today.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
The Next Round team is getting healthy in 2022. You could join the challenge as we look to lose weight with our friends at Way to Wellness. Plus, you can participate with your office as well and win a grand prize. For more information, go to nextroundlive.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation, 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you, 969-8100 or Michelson. LaserVision.com.
Some things just stand the test of time. Your old truck, an aged bourbon, the memory of your first girlfriend, and a classic pair of Red Wing boots. Fall is upon us, and Red Wing boots are the ones every guy must have. Whether you're on the job site, working in the yard, exploring the trail, or heading out for the evening, Red Wing shoes will have you covered. Certified fit specialists will make sure you get the most comfortable boots with convenient locations in Pelham next to Publix and the new Trussville location between Metro Diner and Taco Mama. Red Wing boots, a classic you can enjoy every day.
Back with you on the next round. You're about to go ask Rocky a question? Yeah. I'm sending out a question. If I did a poll question, a Cowan Equipment poll question on your favorite Skynyrd song, and you only got 3 slots and the fourth one's going to be other, what 3 do you put in the 3 slots?
Well, your most popular, I would think, by Spotify would be Sweet Home, would be Freebird, and either Simple Man or Tuesday's Gone. I mean, those are going to be your top 4.
Yeah, but I can't put Freebird and Sweet Home Alabama in there. It seems like that would dominate the vote.
Their top 5 is Sweet Home Alabama, Freebird, Simple Man, Gimme 3 Steps, and Tuesday's Gone.
Okay, so I'll put Freebird and Sweet Home Alabama and other with Simple Man.
Give Me
there.
3 Steps. Was he dancing with somebody's chick and he just wanted to get out before he got shot?
Yeah, a lot of guns being pulled on Ronnie.
I think they hung out in some pretty rough places.
There's Give Me Back My Bullets, put them back where they belong.
Yeah, that's my favorite one. That's about not having the rights to his music, right?
Yeah, the really sad thing is, a good majority of that band died in their 20s, so they really never got to experience life. But what they did, I mean, obviously the band was named after a principal they hated, right?
I think it was a PE teacher.
Okay, PE teacher. But, I heard the story that they all ate so fast because when they would get food, they would have to share like their McDonald's, and like they put it in a pile and just whatever you would get. So everybody was eating as fast as they could. So even when they started making money, they all ate fast and they couldn't really enjoy their food.
So when they were just making it gig to gig, they would go through a McDonald's and they'd throw it down on the van floor and just eat what you could get.
Well, also you have a band that has like 10 members and you got the crew and that's just a lot of food. So,
but Ronnie was one of those guys that would obviously love to drink, love to partake, but he would black out. And I remember one reporter, and it might have been on that documentary that we were talking about,
If I Leave Here Tomorrow,
where the guy said, all of a sudden they're talking, and like an hour into it, he said, "How do you think you're getting out of this room?" And the guy interviewing him was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "You're not leaving this room. You got to get through me." And he said, "I'll beat the F out of you." And so the guy was scared to death.
Write that down.
But like his eyes had just blacked over. But he was apparently a wild man. Probably would have been fun to hang out with until he hit that point.
I mean, isn't that why again, I'm just going off of, urban legend or assumed knowledge, that didn't the long guitar solos in their concerts happen so they could go back and drink and other stuff?
Sometimes they would start the show with Freebird.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of like Def Leppard stuff. They do the guitar solo so we can go backstage and meet some nice ladies or just take a break.
Well, Rick Allen was doing some of those drum solos where they would go underneath. I remember our friend Tony Curry actually was underneath with them telling some of the stories about that. That's
like occasionally
Sodom and Gomorrah.
They'd go back and have drinks or sex or drinks and sex.
Def Leppard, they would have in the round. That was that was the
it was underneath. It was
Hysteria
the
Tour?
Hysteria Tour, yeah.
And they had it in the round, so they would have a part where the drummer, Rick Allen, and the guitarist would have like a back and forth where they solo for like 10, 15 minutes, and they would have before the show, you would have your selection of like you'd see girls that have come up early to see the show, and like Joe Elliott would be like, "All right, that one, that one, that one, that one. Just bring them back during the show, and then I'll meet them during the solo." And like that's every city.
Wow.
Wouldn't you love to be the girl? Okay.
I got picked.
On the Animal
I got
or
a
the
yellow
Rocket
ticket.
solo, you're queued up, okay? Be good to go.
Is that my song?
Love bites, man.
Part of our show, we got Cowan Equipment polls out there brought to you by our friends at Cowan Equipment LT.
Hey, if you're having a hard time finding that new plastic on the seat piece of heavy equipment, check out Cowan Equipment's rental fleet hit list for a wide range of well-maintained equipment from their rental fleet for sale now. Visit cowan.com/featured used equipment or call us 1-800-239-COWAN for more information.
Peter Burns at the top of the hour here in just a second. Later, Matt Mosely. We'll talk a lot of NFL coming up. Today is the 70th anniversary of the Today Show, and I know this is not a Today Show crowd, but are you guys impressed that show has been rolling for 70 years now? And do you have a favorite Today Show host ever, all time? Were you a Katie Couric person?
I grew up with Jane Pauley, and I guess which Gumbel was it? Was it Bryant?
It had to be Bryant Gumbel.
Bryant Gumbel. Yeah, that was it for me, Bryant and Jane Pauley back in the day.
I thought Matt Lauer was really good.
I did too.
I thought he was really, really good.
Who's even on it now? I don't even know.
Oh, I don't even know who's on it now.
I did think it was funny. The roommate showed me, it was National Roast Day the other day, and so it was the Hoda and is it Katie?
Vanna Guthrie and Hoda.
Okay, Vanna Guthrie and Hoda reached out to Arby's Roast Us, and they said, it's sad when you're watching a show called Today when I wish it was tomorrow. I mean, Arby's is so good and so spot on with that.
Did we miss that?
We missed it, yeah.
Oh, Lunsford, go back and pull up some of the good ones. That was one of my favorite radio shows we did last year.
Yeah, we do need to pull some of that. It's the only one that I saw. It was Tuesday or Wednesday this week.
So later in the show, go back to Arby's Roast Day.
That's Wendy's.
Oh, Wendy's.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why I said Arby's.
Wendy's is the roast king on Twitter.
Wendy's.
Okay, so Wendy's, go back and pull that from earlier this week. And
sad when I'm watching a show called Today and I wish it was tomorrow.
That is a fantastic cut. Well, happy 70th anniversary there. A lot of good things at 70 now. Nick Saban, the Today Show. Hopefully this whole thing makes it 70 years for the next generation of whoever will sit behind these microphones. When we come back, we bring in Peter Burns. The show is being brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right today.
Hey, with another year done and dusted, you'll want to jump into 2022 with a mortgage company that can be trusted. That's our friends at Mortgage Right. They can help you ring in the new year with some cash in your pocket. Put your home equity to work with a cash out refinance, consolidate debt, fix that rotting deck, or do what you need to do to get your financial house in order. Mortgage Right's team of experts eager to offer the tips, tools, and guidance to give your finances a boost. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to get started. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
Over 100 quick messages in the Farmfolio chat room in that segment, and it's going by too quickly. Somebody said, Nothing But a Good Time's a great book documentary about 80s and 90s rock there. On the Hunt is a great Skynyrd song, according to Zach and some others over there. You guys love your music. You're talking about it in the Farmfolio chat room. You can go over there right now and enjoy that on our YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook streams. That gets you into the Farmfolio chat room. Also on Twitter at Next Round Live. As you watch us today, Peter Burns from the SEC Network joins the conversation on TNR.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by Culver's, located in Stadium Trace, just off 459 and 150 in Hoover. And coming soon to Tattersall Park on the corner of 119 and 280. Culver's, welcome to delicious.
When it comes to choosing a dentist, two things are critical: trust and comfort. Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. It's why I tell you about Stone Creek Dental Care. Dentist owned and operated, and Stone Creek Dental Care is the Southeast premier provider of comprehensive dental care with more than 20 locations, including Birmingham, Chattanooga, Huntsville, Trussville, and Montgomery. Stone Creek Dental Care is able to provide a level of quality care you will not find anywhere else. From your basic cleaning to restorative dentistry, cosmetics, and endodontics, Stone Creek Dental Care covers a wide and comprehensive range of dental services for patients of any age. Stone Creek Dental Care's mission is to provide the highest quality dental care to every single patient in an environment that exemplifies the highest ethical, personal, compassionate, and professional standards, and to provide the best patient experience possible. Stone Creek Dental Care is currently accepting new patients at all locations, and new patients get a free Chick-fil-A gift card at your first appointment. So visit StoneCreekDentalCare.com to find a location nearest you. StoneCreekDentalCare.com.
Hey, if you're looking for a local agent to handle all of your insurance needs, you need to call my good friend James Anthony at the James Anthony Agency, 205-985-7717. Hoover, Birmingham, Northport, and Tuscaloosa. Has been in business over 20 years. The James Anthony Agency.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who miss the fairway all day and still pull out the big stick, the type of guys who will always prefer to be behind the grill than in front of the camera, and the men who never let their friends forget about a high school nickname. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
Hi, this is Wes McClooney, owner of the New Balance Birmingham store. And if you're like me, you probably added an inch or two to your waistline over the holidays. If Santa didn't put new shoes under your tree, it's time to treat yourself so you can walk or run those extra pounds off. Make your New Year's resolution to get out and exercise. At the New Balance Birmingham store, get the perfect fitting shoe to motivate you. Shop the New Balance Birmingham store on Highway 280 next to Chick-fil-A.
What are some signs that you may have a low testosterone problem? Is your energy down? Have your workouts not been the same? Do you have problems sleeping? All of these or one of these could be a sign of a low testosterone issue. Whatever the challenge, the Alabama Men's Clinic has a solution for you. I'd invite you to come by the Homewood location, get a medical consultation and some blood work. And if you're medically advised and you start your low T treatments that day in the office, your visit is free. Well, the next question would be this. How do I set up the appointment? You can do it two ways. One, by calling 205-598-7000. That's 205-598-7000. Or you can go to the website, alabamamensclinic.com. There's other signs that you could have a low testosterone problem, like a change in your libido, or maybe you're suffering from depression. Whatever is keeping you from feeling 100%, it's time you find out the answer. Again, call the number 205-598-7000 or go online to alabamamensclinic.com.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com. The latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Excalibur Services, now a Train dealer, invites you to join their Total Home Comfort Club. Just like your car, your heating and cooling, electrical and plumbing systems need to be maintained for top performance, safety, and comfort. The Excalibur Home Comfort Club benefits include free consultations, priority scheduling, summer and winter cooling and heating tune-ups, a yearly plumbing and electrical inspection, plus 15% off any repair. Ask about our limited time buy one, get two sale. Call us today at 205-718-8688. Excalibur Services, Alabama license number 15214.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, we start this hour off with our headlines before we get to Peter Burns. And they're being brought to you in part by our friends at Bromberg's, a great place right there in a couple of locations to get a gift for any occasion.
Yeah, if you're thinking about popping the question in 2022, you need to go see the Diamond Specialist. That is our friends at Bromberg's, family-owned and operated since 1836. They have established that solid reputation as a fine purveyor of quality diamonds as well as jewelry, timepieces, and gifts. Two great locations, Mountain Brook and the Summit. You can also shop online today. Go to brombergs.com.
Cameron Latu is coming back for Alabama, waiting to hear about Slade Bolden and John Mechie. Yesterday, Jamison Williams and Evan Neal both decided to go to the NFL. Draft deadline Monday for that. Penn State running back Noah Cain, recruited out of high school by LSU. Second time around, LSU gets him. Great addition for Brian Kelly there, including Arkansas DB Greg Brooks, who's going to go to LSU as well. Virginia quarterback Brennan Armstrong is back for another year with the Cavs. And Jim Harbaugh, clock ticking on whether or not he's leaving Michigan or not. He hinted earlier this week, more likely or not, I'm staying at Michigan, whatever you want to read into that. No Eric Musselman for the next couple of games. Shoulder injury as the coach at Arkansas. No motorcycle involved in that one. And UAB beat FIU last night, 84-56. Andy Kennedy's crew is unbeaten at home this year in Conference USA. Auburn on the road at Ole Miss. Bama on the road at Mississippi State coming up tomorrow. UAB's got a home game with FAU. Those are your headlines. Brought to you by Bromberg's. Our boy Peter Burns joins us now from the SEC Network. Peter, man, welcome in. We're back from Indy where it was an all-SEC party. We saw some of your coverage there on the SEC Network as well. It's good to be king, and the Georgia Bulldogs finally got it done. What's been the reaction from Georgia people you know about finally getting one?
Yeah, that it's still surreal, right? Like we talked to Travis Denning, who's a country western star, and he was just like, I must have watched the game already like 15 different times, right? Just kind of chaos. And And it was funny as I was listening to you talk about the headlines. I got SEC Network in my studio here at the house, and they're showing the opening game against Clemson. And I'm like, man, like, we thought they were pretty good. And then I keep seeing JT Daniels pass the ball in that game. They didn't have a whole hell of a lot of offense in that one, but just how different it was. Like, what a weird season it was, not only for Georgia, but for Alabama. And I said this, and it upset some Tide fans, which I don't know if you guys have Tide fans listening, right? They're in Alabama, just one or two. But I said Georgia winning this was so important for how we'll look back at 2021 as a season, because with the amount of upsets that we had a bunch of new blood in the college football playoff. Had it been Alabama once again, it would have just been like, yeah, and that was another year that Alabama won it. But to kind of cap off what I still think was one of the best college football seasons we've had maybe in 20 seasons, that you needed somebody else to win it. And the way that it happened, right? With Stetson Bennett, the walk-on, winning it against the Heisman Trophy 5-star kid. I mean, it's a damn storybook ending, and one that worked well for the SEC.
Yeah, let me go there with Stetson Bennett. And it was just an awesome story. And Tuesday morning when we were doing the show from the media hotel before we left Indy, I brought up the fact that Stetson Bennett, the option is, come back, sell insurance, or, I don't know what another option is. It doesn't seem like the NFL is the option. I assume he comes back. And if you're Kirby Smart, the only option is you start the guy that won a national championship for you. But then Dunaway brought up, I think it was on yesterday's show, what Kirby Smart doesn't want to do is lose another Justin Fields. And he's got two 5-star guys that are going to be in that quarterback room. So it seems like, along with JT Daniels, it seems like there's kind of a dilemma. Do you assume Stetson Bennett is going to be your starting quarterback next year against Oregon?
So let's start with the Stetson aspect of it, right? And part of some of the SiriusXM shows I do was with Aaron Murray, and Aaron and Stetson are really close. And I asked Aaron that yesterday. I was like, so what's Stetson doing? And he's like, Stetson told me he wants to play. Like, he wants to come back. He wants to play football. He wants to play at Georgia. This is where he's at, right? So that Stetson wants to come back. At least that's what we're being told. So the Kirby Smart is kind of angle of it is a little bit more intriguing, and I'm fascinated by this, right? Because you have lost that Justin Fields type character. You have, what is it, Vandergriff, and is it Carson Beck's the other guy, along with JT Daniels. I mean, you're chock full, and it felt like at some point you won games despite Stetson Bennett, as crazy as and maybe harsh as that sounds, because of how good your defense was. Is the defense going to be able to carry you again? I'm not quite sure if that's going to be the case. And I don't know. I mean, I think there's a whole lot less pressure now on Kirby to make the right decision in that, because he did win on Monday night. And my goodness, can you imagine after that fumble happened, Lance, if you're talking about that fumble happens and Stetson Bennett doesn't throw, a touchdown late into that game, what the whole commentary would have been about why JT Daniels never even stepped foot either in the SEC championship game or the national championship game. It'd have been meltdown from everybody in Athens. So Kirby had a great conversation with Reese Davis right after the national title, and Reese, astutely brought it up, and he says, hey, we're going to have some of these conversations with them. I don't know how you don't start him, right? But also I don't know how you keep two other 5-star quarterbacks sitting on the bench in this world that you can go plug and play right now.
Listen, I know players want to play, but is there not a little bit of you, if you're Stetson Bennett, that would be like, man, I could John Elway this thing. I can just walk off as national championship and never lose another game in my life. Let's call it quits right here. Is there not a little part of you that would think about that if you were Stetson?
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, but then I started thinking about it, Jim, because I thought that at first. I'm like, dude, this guy basically could join Augusta tomorrow and no one's going to tell him no, right? Like, we'll get that membership. Like, he could put a State Farm insurance thing and everybody will want to buy their insurance from Stetson Bennett the rest of their lives. They can make a lot of money. But, like, do we say that about a golfer after they win Augusta? Right, in the Masters, it'd be like, well, I mean, he won. He'll never win another title again, so probably best to just put the clubs up. Like, no, like Stetson, has been told he couldn't do it all his life, and he just won a damn, national championship game against, the greatest dynasty there is in college football and the greatest coach ever and the Heisman Trophy winner. Like, who says he can't? right? I mean, he won in a semifinal game. He won in a national championship game. It's not Stetson's issue. It's a Kirby issue because I know Stetson wants to play.
Peter, I've asked this to and we're talking to Peter Burns from the SEC Network. I've asked this to a couple of people. It sounds ridiculous on the surface because one's 46 years old, one is 70, but moving forward from this point, who wins more national championships, Nick Saban or Kirby Smart?
How do you not pick Kirby, right? I mean, Nick didn't win his first one until 52, and now Kirby has built this thing and put it into alignment. I mean, I said that it would be a disappointment if we're having this conversation in 10 years and Kirby doesn't have 3 titles underneath his belt. I legitimately think that what he's built in Athens, now finally getting this win, is a younger edition of what Nick has brought, right? By, 30 some odd years or 20 some odd years, the age differential, right? I mean, Nick didn't win his first till 52. Kirby's played for 2 by the age of 46, and he's won 1 already. And in the name, and now in this world of name, image, and likeness in the transfer portal, how in the world did the big guys ever miss? I'm being serious. If you got 2 signing days and you got the transfer portal, like, how do you miss? And Jim, you were talking about some of the headlines of these guys transferring out, and Sanders and other guys are deciding, hey, I just don't want to be here any longer. That almost helps Saban at this point, because now that's 6 or 7 different spots or roster opportunities you can have to go say, hey, we're going to take the Eli Ricks of the world. If you're an All-American and we need you somewhere, why would you not want to play outside of Kayvon Thibodeau at Oregon? Why would you not want to come play for Alabama? Kirby's going to be able to do that, and I think he has that passion where he wakes up every single morning and he wants to beat the piss out of Alabama. Like that's what happens. And I don't see that flame being extinguished. For Ed Ogeron, it was the same thing. It was, I want to beat Alabama. But once he did it, it was like, all right, I'm going to go enjoy the fruits of my labor. I don't see Kirby being that way. And I think that's why I'm picking Kirby in that bet.
JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline, Peter Burns, SEC Network, and you see the golf flags on his wall there. He's a golfer as well, and we've turned the corner. Were you watching, before we get back to football, were you watching golf last night, the Sony Open? Kevin Na just killing it last night. Did you see any of that?
I watched zero golf, because what it does is, for me, I'll watch the majors, and for me, I hate watching golf because all it does is I want to go play it then. Right. And especially I'll see guys that I used to compete with playing college golf, and they're living the greatest life in the history of that. And now I'm talking to guys in the next round, who won in life. Like, that just, I mean, it just makes me a little bit jealous of what they're doing. Now,
it's like married guys at a strip club. I mean, what are you doing?
I mean, come on. Right?
What are you doing? Yeah, exactly.
But I heard, and Justin Thomas, what he did over there, shooting 61. I think if not mistaken, he has the course record at Kapalua and at the place that they have it in Waikiki this week. So, there's just something about Bama guys doing well over there in Hawaii, to say the least.
Yeah, Hawaii golf, it's where it's at. So in football, we're sitting here, you're speaking of Alabama and the players they've lost or could lose. The receiving room hasn't been a point of concern at all for Alabama in a long, long time. But we were talking yesterday on the show, all of a sudden, you're used to eating the best of the best. I mean, grade A right there in the receiving room. Where are you on Alabama receivers going into next year? And is that a place that could be interesting in the portal in the next couple of days?
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because it's like when Alabama fans are complaining about their wide receiver room, it's kind of like, my Bentley doesn't get nearly as good a gas mileage as some of these, as the hybrid Rolls Royce or whatever it is. Again, once Jamison Williams, it's not just the way that Saban recruits good coaches and quality assistant guys or whatever. It's behind the scenes, and it's also how he hit the transfer portal, right? Henry To'oTo'o, he wasn't the greatest, linebacker in the history of the world, but he did a damn good job kind of shoring up the middle. Same thing with Jamison Williams, right? How did we know that this kid was going to be that good, right? Doesn't play that much over at Ohio State because of the amount of success that they had in that room in NFL talent. But to look at that and go, this is what we need. That's crazy. It wouldn't surprise me if Saban and that recruiting staff have basically NFL talent evaluators looking at tape and transfer portal all day long and saying, yeah, we want this guy, this guy, this guy. Alabama, Georgia, even Ohio State, those top tier programs right now are like Leonardo DiCaprio in his prime at the bar. Like, all he got to do is point and they're coming, right? Because that's how much success that they're having. And how do you say no to that? And I mean, we're seeing it in basketball. Like Xavier Wheeler was over at Georgia, right? Good player, but that's all Georgia had, and they were struggling. He goes, well, if I'm going to play one more year, I want to go play with the best. I'll go and go play for Kentucky basketball. I mean, we're just going to see it, and we're hoping that the Kentuckys of the world, the Mississippi State, the Arkansas of the world are able to pull talent to keep them having some parity, right? Like, that's where you got to go right now.
Hey, so away from these two teams, and Peter, you grew up in this industry watching LSU and watching Nick Saban win a national championship and Les Miles and Ed Orgeron. And after that perfect, unbelievable 15-0, the last 2 years, 11-12, now Brian Kelly takes over. And Ryan Brown was right across from us yesterday, and he had a list of like 7 or 8 coaches and how many national championships over under they will win moving forward. He didn't bring up Brian Kelly. And so when he was done, I had to remind him, Brian Kelly is going to win a national championship. I don't know where you are on that, but I truly believe with the resources, with that program, with this fan base, Brian Kelly will win a national championship.
It's funny because now we start looking at, because I still don't put, and as much as I love them, I don't put LSU on that same level as Alabama and Georgia right now. As good as 2019 was, I put them in that kind of tier 2 of kind of where Texas A&M is right now. Like, a lot of talent. They have all the pieces there, but I'm not necessarily 100% sold on that. No different than, Lance, when I look at like an NFL team going, you know what? Man, this NFL team, the Buffalo Bills are really good. I can guarantee you they're going to win a Super Bowl. Well, guess what? Maybe they don't, because how much parity there is either in the AFC East and how good the Patriots have been, or just the AFC in general, because it feels like the SEC is getting so good as far as so much talent that for those contenders, it is any given Saturday you can lose. And I hope that's going to be the case. I think the transfer portal is definitely going to help LSU. Like, in the past, when you make a coaching change, your team sucked, right? That's pretty much the reason why you were gone, and you lost 2 recruiting classes. Like, the first recruiting class is basically a wash, and the one before that sucked because everybody said you were going to get fired. Now with the transfer portal, you can at least plug and play a little quicker. I just don't know if you can plug and play as quick as what Texas A&M has already built there, or where Alabama and Georgia are right now. If you gave me the over and under of being 0.5 national championships for Brian Kelly at LSU, I'm not quite sure if I'm not taking the under on that. And that sucks for me to say.
Peter, when you're listening to music, Rockstar played a Leonard Skinner show last night with his Black Jacket Symphony, one of their great albums, down in Greenville, Alabama. When you throw stuff on, what do you listen to? What genre do you go to?
I'm all like, this will be the craziest, as a tall, white, lanky golfer. I am all like early or late mid 90s Houston rap. Like, we're going like Scarface, we're going UGK, like Mike Jones, still tipping. I know, again, that's
Ghetto Boys.
When you look at Ghetto Boys, Little Bushwick Bill. When you look at me, isn't that basically what comes to mind? But I'm being dead serious. That's like all I listen to. Like, there'll be new songs out. I'm like, and I'll tell my wife, I'm like, man, this song's really good. And she's like, sweetheart, is that the first time you're hearing it? I'm like, yeah. And she goes, that song came out like 6 years ago. And I'm like, oh, it might be a hit. Like, all I listen to is old. Like, do y'all listen to new music, or do you all listen to like your favorite go-to?
I'm the oldest in the group, and I promised myself in my 20s, as I watched people get older in my industry, that I would always listen to current music, because I think it's important for you to stay relevant with what's going on. So yes, I make an effort to listen to all genres and current music, because it's a career choice. I want to know what's going on. I don't want to be you and your wife 6 years late on a song, and I didn't know that Kesha was rocking it back in 2002.
Lance, you know who Jim reminds me of? Remember Steve Buscemi in that meme that says "Hello, fellow kids"? Yeah, like, I feel like that's exactly.
We call him Jimmy Current. I will tell you though, Peter. Here's where current music will get you though, because your kids aren't old enough. Your oldest is what, 3 now, 4?
4, 4 and 2-year-olds.
Yeah. So once they really start listening to music and it's close, my kids want to listen to top 40 stuff. And so I'm kind of exposed to it a lot, and especially by the pool during the summer. When we put on Pandora, it's typically today's hits. Now, when the friends come over on the weekends and the kids aren't around, it's 90s hip-hop. So I'm right there with you.
Well, and I get a little bit of that. I don't have it through the kids, but what I do is the kid co-host that I work with, Chris Doring, because all the girls he dates are really hip with all the young music, these 19, 20-year-olds. So I listen to a lot of what he listens to by proxy. So that's how I get my music taste right now.
Hey, I tell you, you and your wife, JP Sachs, I think you'll like the lyrics of that. I mean, that's just some good music there. You can check that out. We always enjoy your time, Peter, man. We wish you could be in teleport to the studio every time you join us. We could do this for an hour. That'd be fantastic.
Hey, listen, let's try to make something like that happen. I'm all in. And I mean, again, now that you guys can just kick Ryan Brown out like permanently. And if we can replace him, I'm good. I'll do it for 15% less than what Ryan Brown has. How about that?
Ooh.
I'll negotiate less.
15% less of what Brown makes. Can you do all the stuff Brown does? Because he does a bunch of stuff around here. What has happened is we built this out. Brown has carved out a part of the business here where he doesn't tell us, like, just we have a bank of 5 TVs on that wall and we have a universal remote. They were all dark until we worked on it for about 15 minutes. Our brain, John Lunsford, finally got them on because Brown had it coded where he's the only one who can turn the TVs on.
He's kind of like, did you watch Breaking Bad?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Jesse Pinkman learned the recipe where Gus couldn't kill him off.
Yeah.
And so Brian, so Brown knows everything around here now. He's not expendable anymore.
We got these wall of like 15 televisions over at SEC Network, and it's called the Dari No Controller, because Dari was the only one for like 5 years that actually knew how it. Like, we had to call Dari like on the weekends, like, hey, I'm trying to get the Auburn game on. Like, oh, he's like, you need to hit this button and that button and then go there. So that's how you keep longevity. But let's do it again, boys. We appreciate the invite for sure.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I love the humble brag. I said we've got 5 TVs on that wall. You went 15. That's really good. Peter Burns.
It just means more, Jim. What can I say?
SEC money, man.
Yeah. Peter Burns on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Thank you, Peter, man. Have a great weekend there. Our friends at Johnston RV, who they put us in a big RV and sent us up to the national championship, and we had the time of our life on the ride up and the ride back.
I don't know how many different people like off air that you've talked to about this.
Everybody wants to know.
But, I had 3 or 4 conversations and just talking about not only how nice and hospitable those people are, but just how awesome that ride was.
Yeah, it was the question. I went to dinner with friends last night, and Tony and John and all the guys at the table were like, so tell us, what was that RV like? And I said, man, it is something you and the wife could hop in and just this summer just drive around America and experience everything America has to offer. And you get that at JohnstonRVCenter.com. Family owned and operated by father and son Rodney and Nick Johnston. It's the top-selling travel trailer dealer in the entire state of Alabama. And they got 2 locations, I-65 exit 304 in Coleman and exit 334 right off of I-65 in Decatur. Decatur, you have to use the entrance on the left side. The one on the right side, they're still trying to unlock the chain, I think, that I locked up. They don't have a key to. I'm kidding. He said you weren't supposed to lock the chain, though. He didn't leave that up there for me.
Rocky, you should have seen him trying to drag that heavy-ass chain. Freezing cold at night. I can't say much because I was watching underneath like through a pier of a window.
I was talking to Rodney and Nick the other day about this, and they were like, "You didn't have to lock that chain?" And I said, "Well, what they were laughing at was how the chain is tied to one side, and I pulled it really tight to put it on, and as I pulled it, and then the guy going back in that direction, it went, whoa.
Lose that momentum, man.
It was like a cartoon there. Exclusive lifetime warranties from RV Warranty Forever on all new models and used models under 2 years right there at JohnstonRVCenter.com. Financing is available and is home to Cherokee, America's #1 selling camper brand, is our friends at JohnstonRVCenter.com. When we come back, Rockstar's viewing menu and a lot more right here on the next round.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Cardinal Roofing would like to inform you of a few cardinal rules for roofing. Shingle roofs should be replaced every 10 to 15 years. Damage from storms may be covered by insurance. Leaks are typical where vent pipes come through the roof or in a valley where two slopes come together. But the most important cardinal rule is to always call Cardinal Roofing for all your roofing needs. Cardinal Roofing is your home for financing, one-day jobs, and more than 500 five-star reviews. 205-900-ROOF. That's 205-900-7663. Mention the next round and get $100 off your next roof replacement.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round. I'm absolutely loving my Alfa Romeo Stelvio that I've been in for months now, and right now you can get up to $3,500 bonus cash plus 1.9% financing for 72 months on the all-new 2021 Alfa Romeo Giulias and the Stelvios at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. Come experience the passion and performance of Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo USA of Birmingham.com, 1837 Grants Mill Road, exit 27, right off of I-459.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by Excalibur Services. Join our Total Home Comfort Club. Just like your car, your heating and cooling, electrical and plumbing systems need to be maintained for top performance, safety, and comfort. Call 205-718-8688. Excalibur Services, Alabama license number 15214.
Banking isn't just about your money, it's about you. It's about getting help with what you need when you need it. AmFirst was founded for members just like you, and they've been putting those members first since 1936. Putting you first means services that grow and change with the times to serve you better. Now, every bank has their own app, but that's just it. It's theirs, not yours. The AmFirst app was made for you, so it's easy to pay bills, deposit checks, or transfer money to friends and family from anywhere. You can even customize the app, which means you can personalize your dashboard, create usage alerts, and redeem points for rewards that will make you feel like the number one priority you are. And you can do it all on your own time. So what are you waiting for? Get the app made for you from AmFirst. Visit any AmFirst location or amfirst.org today. That's amfirst.org. America's first federal credit union, federally insured by the NCUA.
Why is Culver's such a treat for so many families? Here's a hint. This treat is thick and creamy, and everyone can get it any way they like. Our fresh, frozen custard. We craft it in small batches throughout the day to make our guests stay. Shakes, cones, sundaes, concrete mixers, flavor of the day. Oh, and the toppings.
Who says you can't please everyone? There's more than one way to dessert at Culver's. Welcome to Delicious.
I want my lawn to look better than anybody else's on my street. Ryan Brown here for the Next Round. Here's one problem. I play a lot of golf, but I'm not a greenskeeper. It's why I depend on my friends at Wayne's. And now is the time to make sure your lawn is properly prepared to grow healthy and lush when spring rolls around. Let the lawn professionals at Wayne's set you up for success as your lawn enters dormancy for the winter season. I depend on them for my lawn. You should too. Get Wayne's treating your lawn now so it looks great in the spring. 866-WAYNES-1. That's 866-WAYNES-1.
Hi, this is Wes McClooney, owner of the New Balance Birmingham store. And if you're like me, you probably added an inch or two to your waistline over the holidays. If Santa didn't put new shoes under your tree, it's time to treat yourself so you can walk or run those extra pounds off. Make your New Year's resolution to get out and exercise. At the New Balance Birmingham store, get the perfect fitting shoe to motivate you. Shop the New Balance Birmingham store on Highway 280 next to Chick-fil-A.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Brown's not here today, but later in the show, I do have the results from our college football golf projections in the middle of the year using the final coaches poll. to decide which two of us would be buying the other person a steak.
How did that work? I mean, will you just explain it before you even go through how the results ended up?
I will later on, but remember, if it was the lowest score total, if you had a team that was unranked, you got 26 points. If your team was 25th, you got 25, 24. If you had Georgia, you only got 1 point.
So did we just draft like 4 or 5 teams each?
And we did a draft back and forth.
So what did we get, though? 4 teams, I guess?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams. We all drafted 5 teams. I've got yours.
Oh, so it wasn't just SEC. Okay.
Yeah. No, it was the entire country.
I got you. Okay.
And also we did the win total improvements was for a steak. In fact, I'll just go ahead and do it in this segment after we do.
You must have won if you did the tally.
Bad poker face.
No, because I had totally forgot about this. I didn't even know.
Face.
Again, I don't even remember doing this.
We did both of them here live on the show.
I don't doubt that we didn't do it. I'm just saying I bet you won.
New Life Art. New Life Art brings us a viewing menu today. And, boy, they're excited about all the new projects they've got working in 2020.
Yes, Daniel Moore always working and bringing you incredible work for the last 40 years. For more information, call today, 1-800-735-2787. And to view that work from the last 40 years and to order online, go to danielmooreart.com.
We got 3 things tonight. 9:30 on Access TV. If you want to watch a great live concert, no bias here, Pearl Jam Let's Play 2. I think it was 2017. Danny Klitsch filmed them doing 2 shows at Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
He does a really good sing-along. Seeing them in Fenway, Vedder came out and did Imagine, John Lennon, just him on the guitar. And he did this. He was, I'm going to do the cheesy thing. I want to see if everybody can turn their cell phone flashlights on. And just panning, because we had good seats, but panning through the whole thing with a bajillion people having their flashlights on. It's really cool. Anyway.
So it's weird, though. I loved Soundgarden, Stone Temple Pilots, Nirvana. I just never, and I've told you this before, I never got into Pearl Jam.
It's an acquired taste. And I don't get insulted. People think I get insulted when somebody says they don't like Pearl Jam. It's fine. I mean,
I don't think you liked Eazy-E, did you?
No, I had a couple friends that listened to it in high school. I didn't mind. Don't quote me. Good song to listen to on the road. But second thing at 8 p.m. on Showtime tonight, Lance, I think you're the only person I've talked to that have watched the show. I know people watch the show, but the premiere of the Ray Donovan movie.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so I stopped watching Ray Donovan, I think it was after like 4 or 5 seasons. I thought it was highly entertaining.
I made it through 3 seasons and loved it. And forget why I stopped watching.
Me too. I really don't remember why I stopped watching.
Would y'all have any interest in the movie then?
Well, it depends on does it leave off what we've missed all these seasons?
Yeah, because I may want to go back and finish up that.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then finally, premieres tonight, but Lunsford screened it last night, Scream. And he said it was the best movie he's seen this year. And I asked him how many movies he's seen this year, and he said 1.
I just saw the thumbs down, a big thumbs down back there.
I am not surprised.
I will not be out at the theater this weekend checking that out.
I will tell you, though, your wife looked really cute on Instagram. She dressed in the old throwback Scream T-shirt and had her popcorn. Laurel's an influencer on Instagram, and she looked the part, like she'd enjoyed the movie.
I think she likes movies more than any of us, and I know me and Lunsford and Rocky are huge movie fans, but I think she takes in more than the 3 of us. But
COVID killed mine. I can't tell you the last time I was at a theater.
Yeah, I haven't gone since COVID either,
Yeah,
and it's not
1917 was the last movie we saw, and that was in February of 2021.
And it's not because of COVID that I'm not back in theaters. Obviously, I sit in 80,000 seat stadiums with no mask. I'm okay going to a theater. I just, there hasn't been a ton of things that they've made that I wanted to go see.
Spider-Man's worth it, in my opinion. Yeah. I took the kids to see that, and I thought it was really good. You and I were talking the other night. You're finally starting to watch Yellow Jackets.
Yes.
And so I watched, so the season finale will be Sunday night, but I watched the one that I missed this past Sunday last night. It is getting out there.
Yeah.
But I think this is just, I haven't seen it. I guess Golden Globe nomination's already out, Lunsford?
I thought they already did the awards, but they didn't have a host or anything, correct? Like, I thought it was all just... Yeah, it's done. Like, it was just done over like, there wasn't a visual
Well, I would
aspect
think
of
that Yellow Jackets would be nominated for something.
I don't think it was.
Well, I know the SAG sent out their nominations the other day, and the morning show got a bunch of them.
I quit on that. I think I lasted 3 episodes of that.
Maybe because Yellow Jackets wasn't finished yet.
No, because I think it's relatively a new show.
Yeah, but we see those shows, you're like, man, that was 3 years ago that are nominated, so maybe in 2023 it'll be up
because it
for
seemed
the
like Mayor of Easttown was like in July, was it not? July and August?
Yeah. So that's what Rockstar is watching, brought to you by our friends at New Life Art. A question, and then who won these two stake bets on the show. You guys will find it interesting looking back at the season that was in college football. But first, our friends at the University of Montevallo want to remind you, if you're looking for a great place for your son or daughter to go off to college, Montevallo is the place for you to be. Right now, 14-to-1 student-to-professor ratio. How important is that for your student, for your son or daughter? Think about how much success that will help them have in the classroom, having that virtual, almost one-on-one relationship with a professor where they know your name and can help you over some humps in your academic journey there at the University of Montevallo. Get more details at montevallo.edu. If you're an athlete, right now the number one competitive bass fishing team in the country is at the University of Montevallo right now. Thanks to Howard for sending that to me on Twitter this morning. Right ahead of Auburn, who's ranked number 2 according to the bass fishing rankings this morning. Montevallo, the national champions last year, and you can be a part of that. They've got a competitive E team and 21 Division II NCAA scholarship sports like basketball, baseball, volleyball, and a whole lot more at montevallo.edu. Schedule that in-person tour, montevallo.edu. One quick question just on life in general. I believe the Mexican cuisine, Mexican dining, is the place that this most likely would happen. Last night I'm at dinner at a local place, and a friend of mine, John, husband of Lauren Sisler, eats half of his meal. It's a big, we had a table of probably 20 people. And first of all, John, obviously you shouldn't start eating until everybody has their plate.
You're going to wait for 20 entrees?
But for 20 entrees, the cheese can get cold at that point. So he tears into this meal. He's half done when the server finally says, okay, did anybody not get their meal? And they're still holding a plate because they're trying to figure out who. No, some people aren't listening.
So they're holding John's plate.
They're holding the plate, exactly. And who had this? And John goes, well, I did. And he goes, well, what am I eating? And he had eaten the half of the one guy who had not gotten his plate done at the end. John was wolfing down a chicken quesadilla, and he had ordered some other kind of quesadilla that the guy was holding.
So was John maybe shooting tequila before? How do you not know what you get?
No, he's on dry January with a lot of people.
Don't you understand, though, when you, when you get something put in front of you, don't you know kind of what you ordered?
Yeah, like if you,
I'll even look inside the quesadilla shell.
Yeah. Well, Jim Gaffigan has the great joke about Mexican food. He said everything is 50 different ways to do it. It's a tortilla, cheese, lettuce, and meat and sauce.
And that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So virtually it was the same thing he had ordered, just folded a different way. The tortilla was folded a different way.
I am a go-to quesadilla guy when I go to Mexican most of the time.
Yeah, I do like a good chicken quesadilla. I just went with 2 very simple chicken tacos, soft shell.
Yeah, Brown wouldn't like to hear this. I like the veggie quesadilla.
Yeah.
You don't like the fajitas?
No.
A couple got that down at the end of the table, and they shared it last night. Last name not Brown.
I thought I smelled fajita when you walked in.
Hey,
that sticks with you, man.
Honest to goodness, the clothes I wore last night, there's no rewear on those. I only had them on for like an
straight
hour.
to the hamper and into the laundry.
But it smells exactly like fajitas by the time I was done. All right, here we go. College football golf results.
Wow, I wonder who won these.
We'll go in order of how we drafted them.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Brown drafted Alabama. So now this is the lowest score as this totals up.
That's a good pick.
Brown drafted Alabama, so he got a 2 out of that. LT drafted Ohio State, so you got a 5 out of that. I drafted Georgia, so I've got a 1. So I've got a 1-stroke lead here.
See how this is trending.
Next up, Brown had Oklahoma, so he got a 10 out of that for a total of 12 at this point. LT drafted Cincinnati, got a 4, so he's got a total of 9, up on Brown by 3. I had Ole Miss with an 11, so I've now got 12. So Brown and I tied at 12, and LT's got a 3-stroke lead. You like where you are right now?
I'm about to fall apart.
Brown drafted Michigan. It's only a 3-pointer there, so that gets to 15. So good for Brown there. LT went Kentucky. That's 15 points. That gets him to 24. Brown takes a 9-stroke lead.
9?
On LT. Flips around quickly there. I had Notre Dame. That's 9. I'm at a 21. So it's 15 Brown, LT at 24, me at 21. Next, Brown took Iowa. 23 points for him there. That gets him to 38. LT got Oklahoma State, a 7. That gets you to 31. So now you flip around your 7-point lead on Brown. And when I made the pick, you guys questioned it because it was going into we made this pick on a Thursday. Coming up later that night was Coastal Carolina and Louisiana. And remember, I took Coastal, and you guys said that'll cost you. Unranked, 26 points. So with one pick left, LT's in the lead with 31. Brown's next with 38. I've got 47, dead last. Brown picked Texas A&M, barely inside the poll at 25. You get Oregon at 21. I get Penn State, again unranked, with a 26. So the final, me in last place, 73. Brown second, 63. LT wins the stake from Brown and me with a 52. You killed us on that. Way to go. You won it with Oklahoma State. It was a great pick by you. That's where
and
you took
they
the lead.
came down to, how close were they to the college football playoff? A foot away,
they
right?
were a foot away from me in the playoffs. So your Oklahoma State, Cincinnati, but really the Oklahoma State pick flipped the script. The one that was more interesting to me was the win totals. Now, we had SEC teams or NFL teams. That was all you could pick from. And it was who would improve their win total the most year to year.
And by the way, going into this, I loved where Brown was. I thought you were in the worst situation, and now I have no idea how this goes. I thought it would go Brown, me, then you.
He picked the Jaguars first. They had won one game. They win 3 games this year. So he gets 2 points out of that. So that's how it works. You had the 49ers. They were 6. They get 10, so you get 4. I had LSU. They were 5. They got 6. I got 1. So off to the bat, you're in the lead 4-2 to 1. Next up, Brown had the Jets. They had 2. They get 4. He gets 2 more. That gets him to 4. You had the Falcons. I thought that would be a big one for you too, but from 4 to 7, you get 3 more. You got 7 total now. And then I had the Cowboys. Big one for me here. From 6 to 12, I get 6 points out of that. So right now, you and I are tied with 7. Brown's got 4. Vandy had 0 wins. Brown picked Vandy. 2 more points for them. So he's up to 6. You had Georgia from 8 all the way up to 14. So 6 more points for you, and that gets you to 13 on the total. So a big improvement there. That's going to be your sweet pick right there. I had the Panthers. They had 5. They get 5. I didn't get any points there, so 0. This is where Brown got hurt. Florida with 8. He thought they'd have a big year. They only got 6. He loses 2 points.
Yeah, those minus kill you.
Takes him back to 4. LT had Mississippi State 4 to 7, gets 3 more, gets him to 16. I had Ole Miss 5 to 10. 5 points for me gets me to 12. So 16, 12, 4. Brown's out of it. He goes with the Vikings 7. They get 8. With 1 point up to 5. You had the Chargers 7 to 9. So you pick up 2 more points. And then I had Arkansas 3 to 9. So I get 6 more points there. So going into the final one, I've got 19. Excuse me, I've got 18. You've got 18. And Brown's got 5. He gets South Carolina to finish with 10. I get the Broncos to finish with 20. And you get Kentucky 5 wins to 10, 5 points, and you win that one too with 23 points.
Wow.
So you thought I'd won both. You actually had won both.
Wow.
Very good by you on the picks there.
Huh.
So 2 more stakes that we'll be buying for you. Combo buys there, not typical me pulling the whole freight. Those were interesting things. And I think the win totals.
Now, how will Brown pay off the stake bets as compared to the bracket bet?
Well, hopefully he'll do it faster.
Will this be summer?
Yeah. Well, they'll still have cows by the time he pays it off. I thought the amazing picks for you were Oklahoma State and the other one. But in that one, Georgia from 8 wins to be national champions. That's a pretty good flip around. I forgot Georgia only had 8 wins last year. Now, it was a pandemic year. There was not quite as many games, but still 8 to national champions, a pretty good role for Kirby.
Yeah, and I think we talked about that going in, that there were so many abbreviated seasons in college that you could have a bigger upside, but at the same time, you could have that bigger downside, which I guess Brown did with the who did he have the -2 with?
The Florida Gators.
Yeah.
Which really flipped him to the wrong side.
Yep.
He didn't get as much from Vandy as the Jets as he thought.
You and I didn't have any negative picks, though.
We did not. My closest was the Panthers at 0. And Matt Rule didn't lose his job, did he?
No, he didn't. And I thought the Panthers would be much improved. But again, Sam Darnold didn't play well. Christian McCaffrey got hurt. I'm glad they're giving Rule another year.
Yeah, one more year for him. One more segment for us in this hour before we get to Matt Mosely to talk NFL football coming up at the top of the hour. Some more college football news, including an addition over for the Georgia coaching staff and maybe an exit coming up. So Kirby could be doing what Nick Saban's had to do forever, and that's transition after a national championship. That's coming up on the other side. Part of the show today being brought to you by the great folks right there at Redmond Vodka and Redmond Distilling, the official vodka of the 2022 World Games.
Yeah, and also the official vodka right here on the next round. Look, the weekend's here, and if you're looking to have a good time this weekend, stop into your local package store, including Pink Package and the Beverage Place, ABC stores. Pick up a bottle of Redmond Vodka, their aim, clarity, and taste, color, and smell. It is vodka perfection. Redmond Vodka made from corn, which not only makes it gluten-free, also provides that smooth finish, doesn't have a harsh aftertaste. Also, don't forget about your new favorite simple classic gin, Vulcan Gin. Pick up a bottle today of Vulcan Gin and Redmond Vodka.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations. But we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, brombergs.com.
Support the show and grab some great t-shirts and hoodies right now in the Next Round store. Buy the Alabama State Map shirts in your team's favorite colors, the popular Y'all Can Have the Rest, or Next Round flag shirts are also online now. Just go to nextround.store. That's nextround.store. The traditional Next Round logo shirts are there too. Buy them for yourself, or they make a great gift for someone else. And let us know what you'd like to see in the store coming up. Nextround.store, that's nextround.store.
If you're looking for a great place for food and fun for the entire family and friends, Beef O'Brady's has been doing that for more than a decade here in Birmingham. Ryan Brown here for the Next Round. 3 great locations, Hoover, Helena, and now Highway 280 in the Brook Highlands neighborhood. In fact, I was in there recently and had wings that George McClooney does himself that aren't even on the menu. Blackened, tossed in sweet jalapeno sauce and finished on the grill, spectacular. And now you can enjoy the food and fun at 3 great Beef O'Brady's locations in Hoover, Helena, and now on Highway 280. Beef O'Brady's, the perfect place for serving up food and fun.
On the field or in the office, you need a solid team and a strong game plan if you want to beat the competition. Xerox Business Solutions Southeast offers everything from printers to managed IT services, as well as hybrid work hardware solutions through our titanium partnership with Dell. For championship-level office solutions, get Xerox Business Solutions Southeast into your starting lineup. Visit xbssoutheast.com/win. Touchdown!
After years searching for a classic jacket that was functional in the field and the city, Tom Beckby couldn't find one he liked, so he decided to make his own. Since designing that first jacket in 2015, Tom Beckby has continued to draw inspiration from natural settings to produce classic outdoor equipment with time-tested rugged materials. Visit the brand new Tom Beckby store in Mountain Brook Village, a local business with the goal of outfitting you for the outdoors here in Alabama and wherever the road takes you. Mountain Brook Village or online, tombeckby.com. That's Tom, BECKBE.com.
Did you know there are many different causes to erectile dysfunction? Causes like a heart condition, diabetes, a reaction to medication, or simply low testosterone. I'm Jim Dunaway, and I'm so glad the Alabama Men's Clinic is right here in Birmingham. They've treated thousands of Alabama men for ED. And listen, men, this is one game you never want to be out of. And that's why the Alabama Men's Clinic staff will find the problem, and some of you will be back in the game the day after your first appointment. Set up that appointment by calling 205-598-7000, 205-598-7000, or go to the website, alabamamensclinic.com. As I told you, there are many reasons you could be having an ED problem, and you want to find out the answer. Most men wait years before they even address the issue with a doctor. Get rid of depression, relaxation, get rid of anxiety, make a new connection with that special person in your life. Again, the number, 205-598-7000, or get back in the game at alabamamensclinic.com.
Want more of The Next Round? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast. The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app. The Next Round team is getting healthy in 2022. You could join the challenge as we look to lose weight with our friends at Way to Wellness. Plus, you can participate with your office as well and win a grand prize. For more information, go to nextroundlive.com.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
A little development on the college football playoff expansion developing now as the ACC commissioner is talking. We'll discuss that in just a second after LT tells us about the great folks at Michelson Laser Vision.
Yeah, see if 2022 is the year of sight for you. Maybe you've worn the glasses or the contacts for years. I wore the contact solution. I was wasting money each and every year. Finally went in, got screened out. I was a potential candidate. After the 12-minute procedure, I now have 2015 vision, better than 2020. Make the phone call that I made. Write this number down, 969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the Next Round sent you. They're going to hook you up with that hassle-free consultation. They're going to make sure LASIK is right for you. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, they do a fantastic job. Call today, Michelson Laser Vision, 969-8100, or online, michelsonlaservision.com.
ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips is talking to the gathered media, and all of our people are reacting to it. Stuart Mendale, Adam Rittenberg, Ross Dellinger, the people that cover college football. And Jim Phillips has said the membership of the ACC is very much aligned in his position that now is not the time to expand the college football playoff. Now is not the time to expand college football playoff. A couple of more reasons why. The positioning is, while an 8-team expansion model is still on the table, it is not realistic. There's just not enough support for 8 from the majority of the commissioners in the room. So I don't understand why a conference like the ACC is anti-expansion, because as we saw this year with Clemson not being normal Clemson, how many did they get in?
They got zero.
Zero.
Well, I mean, Greg Sankey's pro, right?
He is.
Yeah.
And they had both teams in the national championship again. Why are they even worried about changing anything? But they're pro expansion.
Big Ten is pro, I think.
Big Ten is not.
I thought Kevin Warren was.
Kevin Warren is he's not, and I can tell you a variety of other reasons why he's not in a second. Continue your train of thought, and I'll pull up the story today on why Kevin Warren's against it.
Pac-12 is not.
They're not in favor of it, and
which makes zero sense.
Has a tie to the Rose Bowl. They're never getting in.
Yeah,
lately.
look, I go back to Kevin Warren real quick. They typically get one in. They got one in this year. So they typically get one in, so they've got a fighting shot. Pac-12 doesn't have a fighting shot unless you expand. ACC without Clemson, they don't have a fighting shot unless you expand. Where are we on the Big 12?
The Big 12 is the one that is screaming, why are we not doing this? We need to be doing this.
Well, they have to do it now with Oklahoma and Texas gone.
That's right. That's what is scaring them. If we keep going down this road, they're afraid really with what's left, we're gonna become the Pac-12.
You know, 2 of the last 4 years, they've come really close with Baylor and Oklahoma State. I do think those are kind of off years, though. Without the brands of Texas and Oklahoma that they've been able to beat, I don't think that they're in the situation or the position going into the Big 12 championship to actually get in. But I'm with you. I don't understand why Big 10, Pac-12, ACC wouldn't be 100% behind this.
Kevin Warren is about the automatic bids. The SEC is in favor of the model of taking the top 6 ranked conference champions, which you would just assume would be your Power 5 and the top group of 5. But I guess there is a quirky scenario that you could have 2 group of 5s ahead of one Power 5 conference champion. And rather than taking the top 6 conference champs, Kevin Warren, according to reports, wants a model where all Power 5 league champions are guaranteed a spot, with the best group of 5 champ getting the 6th spot. That seems to be such a small concession by somebody, because when is the top 5 Power 5 conference champs not going to be ahead of the group of 5? I would say 99 out of 100 years, those top 5 conference champs are going to be ahead of the group of 5 conference champ.
Yeah, so this year they wouldn't have been.
This year they wouldn't have been.
I think it's Central Florida's year where they went undefeated, probably wouldn't have been.
Okay, so maybe a lot more than I was just
and then
making it out
going
to be.
back to maybe 11 Boise. So, maybe one every 3 or 4 years.
Here's what has to happen. If we go to the automatic bids, we've got to do away with divisions. Right?
Right. And I do think that when you look at the only conference to me that really affects when you're talking about the rivalries is the SEC.
Yeah. I mean, you got to do away with divisions so that your 2 best teams are playing and you don't get like an 8-4 Eastern Division champion knocking off the Western Division champ who's unbeaten, and then they're not one of the top 6 rated conference champions.
But then they ultimately get the wild card.
Most likely, yes. Most likely, yes. I guess that would be what the concern is.
But again, that's considered a postseason game, and postseason play upsets do happen.